Good afternoon. I'm just about to get on the Mastercraftsman colt out of Condover, who I call Brutus. He's a big boy. Come on, Bruty. I suppose he's a bit like a sailor who has a girl in every port. This horse would have a name in every stable. But anyway, he's Brutus to me, and he'll always be Brutus. Come on, big guy. So it's Brutus, Bruty, and his Latin name is Brutius gigantus, because he's a big lump of a horse. Plenty in front of you, plenty behind you. And he's nice and shiny too. His coat's a little bit funny, that's because he was sweating a bit under his rugs, but he's very shiny and healthy. Okay, so this is the second time I've had this horse, and he has matured a heap. He spelled very, very, very well with Darren. He came in very good condition. He was very healthy and shiny. Last time I had him, he was a little bit backwards in condition. He was just a big, tall, rangy baby. He was a bit dull in the coat, and by the time he left, he was just starting to sort of put on weight and get shiny. But he left a bit early because the women in racing open day at Michelle's, which is fine. But this time, hopefully, I'll get him for the full prep, get him up doing his 800 evens. And look, he's just a lot more mature mentally and physically as well. Of course, he's more forward. He knows more about his job. Although I do believe he's still got quite a lot to learn. But look, I'm very happy with him. He's in great nick. He's very shiny, healthy, and he's clumsy. Pick your feet up, Bruty. And it's just nice to have him back. And look, he's built to ride. I find him quite easy to ride. I ride him with long stirrups, so I use my legs to propel him forward into the contact and get him working on the bit. I know they had a bit of trouble with him at the stable, getting him to round up on the contact, and I think, unfortunately he wasn't that forward because he didn't really know what he was doing. He was still very immature, and so when they get ridden with really short stirrups like jockey length, there's no means really to ride them forward except for the whip, whereas I use my legs to squeeze him in the belly and say go forward. So you see me kicking him now, it says go, 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 and so by holding him up in front, so you're getting a bit of a dressage lesson here, I hold him up in front with my hands, which puts pressure on his mouth, and puts pressure on his lower jaw. So normally that would mean stop. But if you follow that up with legs, just make sure there's no car coming. If you follow that up with your legs pushing him forward, then rather than stopping, he'll go forward into the contact and drop his head and round up. And like I said, it's all very well for me because I ride him long, and I'll always ride him long, even at the track. He doesn't pull, so there's no point having short stirrups. I'm not a jockey, and I don't have any desire to be a jockey, and I like to just stay on, to be honest with you. So ride long, live long. You've heard me say that before. So anyway, Bruty, we better find another gear. So I round him up, no problem. I did see a couple of photos of him after he left, and he had a bit of headgear on to get him to round up, and I should have paid a bit more attention to see whether that was actually attached to the bit or whether it was attached to his head collar to make him lower his head. My worry, and the fight I've had with him this time in, is he's wanted to get too low on the forehand, so he's been wanting to work with his ears lower than his wither. That's his wither right there, where I'm pointing on there. So he's wanted to get his ears lower than there, which is not good because all of his weight is propelled onto his front end, which will be too much weight on his knees. And he has had changes to his knees from the work he's had. He's not unsound, but obviously with big horses you've got to keep an eye on that sort of stuff. Come on, Bruty, forward, boy. I know, he's not brave, he likes to shy a bit. But that's okay, go forward, Bruty. Good boy. So I really like riding this horse. I don't let my guard down on him because I don't trust him 100%. He doesn't do anything wrong, but he can just be a bit of a smart aleck. And it may be that the Mastercraftsmen are a bit like that, I don't know. I haven't had a lot to do with the breed. Come on, good boy. Life's scary. Scary. It goes really well with another horse. It'll be a lot easier for him if he had a mate. Easier for Christina too. But I don't always have one, so he can suck it up and work by himself. So he's still got that big, strong, powerful trot. He's probably lost a little bit of movement. But that's, just wear and tear does that a little bit. But he still covers the ground. Still a big fan of his as a racehorse. I don't 100% like his temperament all the time, but that's, you can't love them all, can you? Come on, Bruty. He's a good boy. It's a beautiful day. It's 14 degrees, second week of winter. and the sun is just shining, I think, throughout the whole of Victoria. Maybe not Ballarat or Macedon, but you know, it's just glorious. I'm definitely solar powered. The horses are doing very, very well this year too. You know, their skin's healthy, they're eating well because they're not that cold. I mean, we had a -3 this week, but that's no big deal. Put on thick socks and away we go. Only cold if you stand around doing nothing. Come on, Bruty. Come on, Bruty. So he's quite aware that there's people over there. Hi guys. Come on, Bruty. So you can see his left ear tilted left. That's actually him still looking at them doing the fencing. So the ears tell a bit of a story. Keep my legs on with these calves too. Sunday, oh, it's not Sunday, Saturday afternoon meeting at the reserve. Come on, buddy. You never know what's out here, particularly on the weekends when it's super scary. Good boy, good boy. He's nice and forward though. That's a good boy. He's a good boy. So yeah, so I've sort of got him to round up in a what they call self-carriage, where his pole's the highest point. And look, they don't have to be round like dressage horse. He's not a dressage horse, he's a racehorse. But it's just nice that you have that control on their lower jaw and that they're using their backs properly and stuff like that. And it does make them a lot more pleasurable to ride. I think when I turn and go the other way, the shadow will be in such a place where you can see that he's carrying himself nicely. From what I understand, he's got some terrific lady owners, so he's going to be great fun. He's going to be a bit of a time horse. There's a little part of me that wishes that Ladies in Racing had bought a tried horse from ATB so that they were up and racing already, because some of these babies are going to be a bit of a wait. But look, they're still exciting, and sometimes the wait's just worth it. And I think he's pretty special, this horse. Come on, Bruty. Come on, bud. It's just a nice still day too. It's windy as all buggery yesterday, and he was a little bit naughty in the wind, but he's got no excuses today. It's lovely and calm. End of the week. And he's a good boy. I have plans for him to be going to the track next week. Start his 3/4 work. He came with my friend PK, my partner in crime PK, and so I will probably keep them together and they can start their 3/4 next week. I won't mess around too much. He'll only have a week of 3/4, and if he's handling it mentally and physically, then he'll start his evens. So anyway, off we go, Bruty. I'll get a bridge in my reins. Come on, bud. Well, I should trot him for a bit longer. I'll show you. I was going to go put him straight into the canter, but I want you to see his shadow, so you can see that he's got his head vertical. See? He's nice and round and he's soft on the contact. And I'm not working that hard. I did earlier for the first few rides when he first came. But see, look, he looks beautiful. He's a good boy. So canter. Come on, Bruty. Not big trot, canter. Thank you. I'll just bridge my reins. Come on, buddy. Now I've got a bridge, just apply a bit of pressure on his lower jaw, and he'll drop his head and go forward into the contact. Forward, Bruty. Looks back a little bit, this horse. Wouldn't be surprised if he was a blinkers horse. Very good in the wind though. Sometimes big horses can be a worry, because they can get a bit... Ooh, this fell out of the tree, Bruty. Nearly hit you on the noggin. Poor buddy. Very unpredictable out here. I'll show you his shadow. There he is. Working nicely up the hill. This is quite steep. He's working well, but he's very good in the wind. Come on, Brutus. You can hear him blowing, but that's just his nostrils working. Good boy. Oh, very good boy. Last time when Brutus came, he hadn't had his teeth done. They were very, very sharp, which is probably why he, good boy, why he wasn't in great condition. So we had the dentist to him again this time, because you've got to check them when they're babies, and he needed doing, but not because he'd never been done, but just because he's of that age that he's losing his caps, so he's getting his adult teeth. So Paul Campbell came and we removed his loose caps. Nature takes care of them, they do fall out by themselves, but if you can, if you've got the dentist there and you take them out, the tooth underneath is usually a bit rough and sharp, so it's good to get the rasp put on them and just make sure that they're nice and smooth and comfortable for the horse. Poor Bruty though, he was also losing his front teeth, which they do at that age, and PK was losing his too, but his were coming out as per normal, so we just helped them come out and no problems. But poor Brutus, his were actually coming out but going back towards his mouth, which is not a good thing because they were actually reattached to his gum. So he had his baby teeth underneath trying their damnedest to come, or his adult teeth, sorry, trying their damnedest to come through, but his baby teeth were pushed back into his lower gum in his mouth. So Paul said, well, we'll just leave it and see what happens for a week, and I made the call and said, you better come back, we better operate. So we gave him a little bit of dormicine, which is a sedative, and we took his bottom teeth out. So that was only on Thursday. I have trouble remembering the days. So he's a lot more comfortable with that. So anyway, he's in good tip-top shape now, he's in tip-top condition, and he's got a tip-top attitude. So you want a faultless prep. Come on, Bruty. Come on, Bruty. His head's come up a little bit looking at birds and things. They're all shy at that. They don't like it. Come on, Bruty. Good boy. Don't like the birds much either. Come on, Brutus. Good boy. Come on, good boy. They're all shy through here. Got to be the shadows. And the birds screaming at them scares them. Come on. He's a good boy. He's a good boy. Get off the rocks, buddy. Come on, round up and work. Work. Come on, he can canter up the hill. He's got tomorrow off, Sunday off, so he can do a bit of extra work. But, I doubt he pulls on the track, so it's really quite unnecessary to ride him with short stirrups. You might as well drop your legs around him and give him a bit of propulsion. Boy. She doesn't want to duck in home. Don't you dare, don't you dare. Good boy. Gotta be a bit forceful, particularly with little pigs like him. Good boy, Broody. So he's cantering uphill again. See him there? Brutus, and steady. He's a good boy. And whoa. He's a good boy, so you can see him there. He's a good boy. Come on, Broody. He's quite happy to just stop and walk. So you can just jog down. Come on, round up and work. Boy. Excuse me, sniffing. Good boy. Slow him down going down the hill. He's trying to tilt on the forehand now, which is he's trying to get low in the head, which is what he used to do. So I've just held him up and stopped him from doing it. Do not want all his weight on his front end. He's too big for that. So hopefully he gets most of his work up the Ballarat Hill track with his weight on his bum and not on his front legs, and going in straight lines, not turns. Anyway, it's not my job. He's a good boy. So I'll get some video of him doing his evens in a couple of weeks' time. But anyway, look, very happy with him, very happy to have him back. I love feeling the difference with them. Oh, he's a good boy. So there you have him. He's a good boy. Hey, Broody. Just very aware. You see his ears flicking and twitching and stuff, and you can often see his eye, and that's actually him looking back at me. And although he's not frightened of me being on him, he doesn't 100% focus on what's ahead, and often they're sort of blinker horses because they're just not paying attention. You probably don't get to see the video of PK, but his ears are pricked because he's just so keen to go somewhere, and he's not worried about me or anything around him, behind him or anything like that, whereas Brutus is quite aware of the things around him, hence the flickering ears. and you can often see him just swinging his head a little bit left, a little bit right, because he's trying to look back at me, and you know, just waiting for an elephant to jump out from behind him and he'd be off. But it's not going to happen, bud. So anyway, that's him. Thanks, guys.